Item 6, petitions, is none of that. Item 7, no public input. Item 8, local board input, none of that. Item 9, extraordinary business all day. Item 10, notices of motion. You'll see that I did receive an application for a notice of motion. I formally declined that application for notice of motion for all the reasons set out, and so that matter is dealt with. Item 11,
point of order, Mr. Chair.
Point of order.
Yes, there's a point of order.
I'd like to get some further clarification from you as to why that notice of motion was declined, given the significant community interest and anxiety, even dismay, in the issue of the amount of upzoning that has occurred without any opportunity of our community to be involved in that. And to say that this is not currently occurring...
look, sorry, Councillor Quack, stop. Yep. This is not a point of order. You're making a speech.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, I have ruled on this matter, and I've sent out very clear reasons for that ruling, and it's patently obvious that we cannot accept this notice of motion, and that is it. Now I'm going to move on.
Mr. Chairman.
No, sorry.
Mr. Chairman, I've got to say that
Councillor
I'm here on behalf of the public, not on behalf of you.
I am not hearing you.
Well,
right.
Yeah, that's for real.
So we move on to item 11.
Outrageous, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
It's a good call, Your Worship.
Item 11, annual plan to 16-17, local board feedback on issues for consultation. Okay, now, what have we got here? Anna, welcome. Item 11.
Thank you, Your Worship. So this item is providing feedback from the local boards on the regional issues they considered for consultation. Sorry. This item is providing feedback from the local boards on the regional issues that the Finance and Performance Committee was proposing for consultation.
Merry Christmas, Anna.
And it also provides advocacy issues. Oh, sorry.
I meant to say that we need to express the spirit of Christmas too. I saw that here. So, Anna, way you go.
Thank you. So the local boards have provided their feedback on the regional issues. They've also provided some areas or issues for you to consider that they're advocating for, and this is for consideration for the mayoral proposal and also for your consideration when you're thinking about what you'll put in the consultation document for the annual plan. So the regional issues that they've considered are primarily those rating ones, UAGC, interim transport levy, and the Māori land rates and rural rates. Some boards have chosen not to provide their feedback on the issues themselves at this stage to avoid an appearance of predetermination. Other boards have exercised their right to provide input into those issues so that the Mayor can consider it for the proposal, and so you can consider it when you're finalising the consultation document. The advocacy issues that they've raised as well are for your consideration. The Mayor has picked up one of those in the mayoral proposal, the septic tank issue, and there's a separate report on the agenda for that as well.
Cycleway. Very good. Okay, so, right, I think I saw Councillor Cathy and then Councillor Denise.
Thanks, Anna, for your presentation. I was present for the local board's pleas to us in this room. And one of those pleas came from the Puki Tāpapa local board, and they were very clear, and they said that one of the things they would like from us is that the governing body consult during the annual plan about the retention or whatever of Liston Village. Now, I don't know if the Mayor hasn't heard that or has refused that, but it's not in your report. It hasn't been mentioned in the summary document, nor is it mentioned in the summary of the Puki Tāpapa local board's list of wants and needs. So it was very clear. It was their number 2. There's 2 or 3 pages on Liston Village here.
Yes, that's right. Thank you, Councillor, through the chair. So they did make the case at the discussions with you in November. So staff have looked at that issue. That issue and a number of other issues staff are responding to, and we expect to get the responses to you by the end of this week. But on Liston Village in particular, the advice is that it's premature to formally consult on using Liston Village for housing for older people at this stage. The reasons for that is it's not currently in council ownership. The purpose it was acquired for was an open space purpose, and the older person's housing policy is around existing housing at the moment and not anticipating acquiring new housing. So those issues would need to be worked through before we could formally consult on using Liston Village for that purpose. However, the Puki Tāpapa local board can and will include it as an advocacy issue in their material.
When were we getting that information?
That information I'm hoping it's with you by the end of this week.
Actually, Councillor Cathy, Councillor Linda's just pointing out to me, it's on page 52 of the agenda. It's actually in the minutes, I think, from Puki Tāpapa. So it is there, it's right at
It's
the
not in
bottom.
our minutes. I know it's in their minutes. I
Well,
didn't say that. I said it's not reflected
in
in
our
the
agenda.
report.
It's on our agenda.
No, their minutes reflect it, but the minutes of their presentation don't reflect it. They
So
came
our
to
report
us
provides a
and-
summary of the key themes. All the individual issues are contained in the resolutions in the attachment.
Yep. Councillor Cathy, just look, I'm a little bit aware of the issue, not overly, and certainly understand the dynamics of it, having been fairly well a part of a lot of the ongoing discussions about Pa Homestead et al. And I think what the officers are saying is this is absolutely an issue where we need to be having a very clear understanding, particularly where it's not on our landholding at the moment. And I would have thought that receiving their advice, getting a bit more information from the local board through the submissions process and any input from the community, the present plan with those units is that they're basically there until such time as the last person is no longer there. And I would have thought that it would be shown a reasonable degree of disrespect to those people who are presently there to overly debate the issue relating to the future of that place. So, I am aware of it, but I'm not overly aware of it and all the details in the background. And so I think the idea of getting a bit more information from the officers and reminding ourselves that we've got another 6 months on this plan, and there's a lot more time if, in fact, we need to take any actions for us to take actions. But I'm mostly mindful of the reputation and the sensitivity of those who are actually living in those premises at the moment.
About 30 of them turned up to the public meeting, Mr. Mayor.
Yep, and that's why I think we need to just be a little bit relaxed in how we go about making decisions with regard to that matter. So let's take a bit of time on that. Now I've got Councillor Denise.
I just have a question around timing of further information, so very related to the prior question.
Yep.
In paragraph 9, is that basically saying that the bullet point topics in paragraph 8 are going to be to us by the end of the week, and then all other matters are coming in the new year? So how does Liston fit in with that, because it's not in the bullet point?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So the bullet points in 9 are identifying the key themes that have come through from the boards. So some of those also relate to particular information requests that the councillors made during the discussions with the local boards. So it's those issues that are coming back to you hopefully by tomorrow, certainly before the end of the year. And Liston Village is definitely one of those items, and some of those other bullet points relate to just general advocacy which weren't subject to further information requests from yourselves. So they'll be picked up early next year, and they'll be with you before we have the discussions with the Finance and Performance Committee and local boards for the final annual plan.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, good. Thank you, Denise. Right, councillors, any other questions on this matter?
Yeah, I've got a question.
Oh, Councillor George.
Just in relation to, that coastal erosion, is that the only boards that have mentioned that in their submissions?
Mentioned it specifically, but it is an interest of it's interest to all of the boards with coastal areas. Yeah.
Okay. And the other issue I just want to raise as a question is stormwater. Looking through the submissions from the boards, it doesn't seem to be an issue that is raised, but there's pockets of areas around Auckland where stormwater is a major issue. Is that because they're not aware of the extent of the problem, or do you think, or what's the answer for that?
So stormwater is outside of local board decision making, so not termed a local activity as such. So they may not have as much visibility of stormwater as some of the other local activity areas. However, they are aware of the issues with stormwater. I think that they are conscious that this is an annual plan year and not an LTP year, and they have tried to stick to just the key themes.
Okay, I just want to speak, though.
Thank you, Councillor George. Right, councillors, I'll move it. Moved and seconded by Councillor Chris. All those in favour say aye.
I said I wanted to speak to it.
Oh, right.
Sorry.
Okay. Oh, sorry about that.
Not using the
You're
mic.
sort of general.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Councillor George. You sort of
But I just want to
seem to
say,
be
Except
giving
when
your
he's
various
caring.
assent to it.
well, I just want to say that I think it was great that the local boards did prepare themselves well for their presentations, and I got a lot out of it. It's actually sad that on occasions there weren't many councillors around the table. And, you know, I think that's just one of the issues that the boards probably are a bit deflated when they come in. There's not a lot of councillors, but that's just one of those facts of life. And I just want to allude to those two issues of coastal erosion, which I know we're looking at the way forward with coastal erosion, and the chief engineer is doing some policy work on that. But it is going to be something which this council can't steer or shy away from, because it is a major problem and worse in some particular places. And that one of stormwater, it does concern me that our budgets aren't particularly robust in that area. And it's going to be something, I think, in the future that is going to become more and more of a problem, because I know on the North Shore we've got gullies and valleys where, when it rains, the water just charges down the creeks and tributaries, many of them through our own parks, and the erosion is continuing unrelenting. And you'll see, go down some of those bushes, Leroy's Bush, Carry Glen, and you'll see the trees falling into the creeks after a major rain event. So I think that there is some hidden mysteries here in the areas that the boards do have a responsibility to, and I think that they are matters that should be looked at by this council in the future. And lastly, I just mentioned that some boards have raised the issue of whether we are maintaining our assets at an acceptable standard, and I do think that that's one area that this council needs to address in the future. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Very good. Councillor George, just the issue of stormwater and appropriate stormwater management. One of the things that we have been doing is what we call daylighting, which is planting in, opening up old stormwater culverts and daylighting them. I encourage you to go and have a look at the La Rosa estate in Green Bay. It is an amazing example of transformation of a stormwater area into a much more sustainable stormwater management program. And for me, that is the way for the city to go forward. Now, it's not cheap, unfortunately. You basically got to open it up and reinstitute the prior waterway. But Councillor George, if you go and have a look at that, you'll get a sense of what is possible as we go forward and what would constitute very effective, successful stormwater management. Right, it's moved and seconded. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
It's against passed. Thank you, Councillor. Item 12. On-site wastewater systems, septic.